Okay, so if I said to you particle fishing for carp, what would you say back to me? We'll have a bit of a straw poll with this one. You can put a comment below and we'll see which one's the most popular answer. Now, I wouldn't mind betting that hemp seed would be up near the top or at the top because it's one of the best particle baits there is. But hemp is 40 quid for 20 kilos these days. It's hideously expensive, and if you cook it yourself, it's a bit of a ball ache, let's be honest. Pans and pans of the stuff on the stove, you want more and more of it, and the more you use it, the bigger the quantities you want to use. You'd end up overfilling your pans, it spills out onto the stove, all that dirty water. You know, it's a pain in the arse cleaning up after yourself. Now, there is another particle that does the same kind of job as hemp. It's a small seed, keeps the fish grubbing round, holds them in an area just like hemp would, but it's half the price. I've paid $18.99 for this sack for this video, and it only requires half the preparation. Yep, I'm talking about rolled oats, or as carp anglers know them better, groats, and the subject of this video is preparing groats for carp fishing. Okay, so preparation of groats for carp fishing. Basically all we're going to do is open the groats, put them in a bucket and add water and leave them for 24 hours, and that's it. That's as simple as groats are to prepare. There's no boiling involved or anything like that, so they're a lot easier to prepare than hemp, and they're half the price at 18 quid for a sack. That's how much you paid for that. Hemp's like 35-40 quid. It's been quite expensive in recent years, so the groats nice and cheap. Let's get them out. There we go, groats. Okay, so I've got my little bucket and I've got a scoop, and all I'm going to do is put my groats in the bucket, and there we go. I've put 5 cupfuls of a cup off a flask, and that's enough for a day out. Day's fishing. I'm going fishing tomorrow afternoon, and that will do. Okay, so we just need to get some water on it and then leave it for 24 hours. Okay, so let's water them up. And there we go. Just swirl them round so they all sink. And that's all the preparation done. All we've got to do now is wait 24 hours and they're ready. Okay, let's go back to the bank and we'll take a look at the finished groats ready to go carp fishing with. So I use seeds like hemp and groats for setting little traps for the fish. I just want a nice small bed, you know, put out with a catapult or a baiting pole, nice tiny spread of bait, and when the fish come in and start sucking and blowing at it, they colour the water up and they get the water murky. I've got this saying I use on a regular basis: boilifying your particles, adding boilie additives to particles to try and make them like your boilies. It's counterintuitive. You want to make your particles different from your boilies, because that's the whole idea of using them in the first place when the boilies aren't working. So when it comes to soaking, salt and sugar, make them sweet or make them salty, is the way to go for me when it comes to groats. And the other thing I like to do is I'll put in another particle. Now take these here, they're my groats, all prepared, and in with them are chickpeas. And what I've done is I've boiled a little batch of chickpeas while these have been soaking. Actually, I did them before these were soaking, and then I just tipped the chickpeas in with the groats and left them for 24 hours. And chickpeas, like all particles, it's not just chicks. The most famous of them is tiger nuts, but chickpeas, maple peas, anything like that will ferment. And when you put chickpeas or tigers in with groats, they ferment, and the water goes nice and sticky and it soaks into the groats, and that's how I do them naturally. I'm using the natural fermenting process from the chicks or tigers or any other particle you want to soak into the groats, and that is absolutely brilliant. It's little known, well, it's well known that I turned over Cape Thorn Hall in the 90s with tiger nuts, but what's not so well known is that groats was the other half of my bait. I was soaking my tigers, putting them in with groats so that they fermented all together, and then I'd be dropping in little patches of groats with a tiger nut on top. The idea was that the groats would get the water coloured when the fish grub around, and it made them vulnerable, and it worked really well. So it's a age-old tactic as far as I'm concerned, using the second particle with your groats so that they'll soak up whatever's fermenting, be it maples, tiger nuts, chickpeas in my case, anything you want. Avoid boily flavours, use the natural water from whatever other particle you've got with you to fish over the top of them. Get a bit of grass off. Nice mirror. It's only a low double, but the lake's been fishing hard and the groats have been using a cloud in the water up, and they're vulnerable when it's cloudy. So yeah, the method's working really well. There we go. Pretty fish, not a mark on it. 13.8. And that's just come fishing over groats. Okay, so in the top right hand corner, preparing hemp in small amounts, a couple of pints at a time with the flask. That's a really good way of doing it, nice and clean. And in the bottom right hand corner, preparing pigeon conditioner. Both are seeds that get fish grubbing about exactly the same as groats. Okay, thanks for watching Preparing Groats for Carp Fishing, and I'll see you in another video soon. Take care.